Welcome back to the 9th Gym program, and today, well I guess yesterday, we got some news. It is confirmed for Players Cup 2 to be in Series 5. It's Series 5, so I don't really want to play like a Series 6 team. I know a lot of people still will, and, you know, no shame on you for doing that. You know, play what you want to play, but I am going to be playing a Series 5 team, because why not, you know? If I can use these crazy, absurdly powerful Pokemon, I'm going to be using them. That's just me. That's just what I'm going to be doing, you know? So yeah, I want to ask you guys a question. Do you want to see Series 5 content for the next 2 weeks? Or do you want to see Series 6? Do you want to see a mix? I'm going to be doing a lot of Series 5 gameplay, whether it's for content or just for myself, for testing purposes. So let me know in the comment section right now. Go down to the comment section and comment, hey, I want to see Series 5 content these 2 weeks. I want to prep for the Players Cup. I want to know what I should be doing for the Players Cup and how to test. Or, I don't want to see it. I don't care. Say one of those two things. Either way. Anyway, let's get into the video itself. So, today we are going to be building a Series 5 team. I'm going to be building a few Series 5 teams this week. I'm going to be building whatever I'm playing the next week in cartridge. So we're going to be building some teams this week. We're going to be playing some games this week on Showdown because, you know, Series 6 is still the ranked ladder. Good job, Pokemon. What are you doing? Well, come on, what are you doing? Why did you give us a ban list if it was not relevant for the tournament, the only tournament that you did? Why give us a ban list for make me play that for 2 weeks? Make me get out of sync with whatever. Anyway, let's get into it. So, I am doing one of these 3 archetypes most likely for today's video. We'll cover the other ones most likely throughout the week with some team building battles. But for now, I want to figure out which one of these, and I'm kind of leaning towards Venusaur Gmax and Torkoal. We also have Togekiss Dragapult as an option. We also have Tyranitar Excadrill as an option. Now, of course, multiple of these can fit on a team. It would just be a little weird, you know. VMAX. I've been playing the card game. So Venusaur Gmax really likes Life Orb. Now, it doesn't always have to. It can use Focus Sash if you want to. It could also use Wide Lens if you're not going to be Gmaxing it very frequently. However, I want to use this as the most offensive version of Venusaur that I can. So we're using things like Frenzy Plant, 3 attacks instead of Sleep Powder, and Protect with Chlorophyll and Life Orb. So that's the build that I want to use for this. And like I said, I think for this video, I'm leaning VMAX. Or Venusaur Gmax and Torkoal. So we are going to be getting rid of these guys. Togekiss is probably going to come back. Tyranitar might come back. We'll see. I think those Pokemon, like, even though we have Torkoal, I do think Tyranitar is still a really good Pokemon in the meta. It's very, very strong. It gives you an alternate way of play. If you don't want to bring the Venusaur Torkoal, you can still even bring it without, you know, caring about the Sun engine. You know, it's really cool. VMAX, you know, Venusaur Gmax can get a lot of mileage, not even in Sun, because it's a very, very strong Pokemon, has great coverage against the meta. It's good. I like it a lot. Gmax, Venusaur, and Torkoal is the build that we're going to be going for today. Now, I already built these up a little bit. As you can see here, like I said, Life Orb, Chlorophyll, 3 attacks, Protect. Makes a lot of sense. I think that's really good for, you know, offensive Venusaur, balls to the wall, offensive Venusaur. And then for the calc, I just went 252 into special attack speed, and then 4 into HP with, I went timid here, but I'm actually going to go modest. I don't think, I think the majority of people are going to just go for modest, so I don't think it's really too necessary to go for that, instead, like, over it. I don't think it's too big of a deal. Now, Venusaur is a Pokemon that I really, really liked at the end of Series 5, you know, like 2 weeks ago, and, yeah, if I was playing in the Players Cup, the last format, in the Players Cup, like finals and stuff, this is probably what I would have brought, was a Venusaur team, because I think Venusaur is just very, very solid. You know, you have options of running it multiple different ways, and your opponent doesn't know exactly what way you're going with, so they have to play around Sleep Powder turn 1. They have to still, you know, respect the fact that Sleep Powder is real, and it could just be like Wide Lens Sleep Powder Machine and just sleep you, and then you'll lose to sleep. So they have to respect it all the time. Now, we still have Torkoal as well, which is really good. Setting Chlorophyll, which is amazing. Or setting Sun with Drought, which is amazing for our Chlorophyll, which doubles our speed in the Sun. Great stuff. We went for a more bulky defensive boy Torkoal. I go for HP and probably defense. Now, the reason I'm going all into defense is we'll show you this calc real quick. Let me pull that up. doing it in a weird. I'm doing it in a weird way today. I have different windows. It's fine. Calc. So 252 plus defense Torkoal body press into 252 HP for defense Tyranitar. Dynamaxx is hitting about 47 to 56%, which is 76% chance to 2 KO, which is a roll. But you know, we have things like Dazzling Gleam and stuff. It's a lot of damage, is pretty much what I'm saying. And if you can bring Tyranitar down to a pretty, you know, 50% less, if it's Dynamaxxed, body press is taking it out this way. So that's kind of what we made this calc to do, so that we can be very bulky while still being able to knock out or at least pressure the Tyranitar immensely. And that's what we want, because, you know, and we could go for like Earth Power and then max special attack, but then we don't have any defense investment, and we're going with a supportive bulky boy as Torkoal. So yeah, that's what we're going with. We're going with some defensive calc. Now, of course, we could, you know, calc it a little bit more. We might need some. I was messing around with calcs earlier and found this lets us survive Earthquake or High Horsepower, Max Quake off of High Horsepower from Adamant Excadrill, you know, without Life Orb or anything. So, you know, just going to 252, I'm pretty comfortable with that. Now, there are a couple of different ways that we can use this right now. We can also make this 0 IVs and then go for, you know, Relax Nature instead. But then we kind of have to bring a Trick Room build, and I don't really want to. And of course, you know, it would just be a little bit better under Trick Room. But at 40 speed, you're actually outspeeding a lot of stuff in and out of Trick Room, and that's pretty relevant, actually. So going from 22 to 40, we are then outspeeding things like Hatterene initially, which is very, very good. Means that you can get some damage on those Pokemon with Heat Wave first, right off the bat, which is good. We have Psy Spam once again, with Indeedee coming back into the meta from Series 6 instead of Series... or into Series 5 instead of Series 6. We had Indeedee banned. So, you know, this is pretty relevant for that. It's pretty relevant, is what I'm saying. Now, Expanding Force does a lot of damage from their Indeedee into my Venusaur, which is unfortunate. Venusaur can do a huge chunk of damage, but if it's Focus Sash, then Torkoal can still hit Heat Wave before, you know, the Hatterene can do anything. If it maxes turn 1 or goes for Expanding Force, we can get some damage down on that before Torkoal may be taken out by the double, since we don't have special defense at all invested. So we have options. You know, VMAX Venusaur with Torkoal is pretty good. Now we could go for 0 speed, like I was saying. I'm not sure yet. Now, another thought that I had was adding our own Psy Spam onto here. Now, this gives us a few different things. Now, it gives us 2 different good Gmax Pokemon, and of course we have to go for a different item here. I was thinking maybe Focus Sash on here so that we can guaranteed get Trick Room set up, but it's still not a guarantee. But with Indeedee next to it, you know, sending off Follow Me, it's pretty likely. Now, using this, I don't think we're gonna go for you know, any kind of Togekiss on our team, because then we'll be doubling up on Fairy, you know, which is not great in a meta with, you know, a lot of good Steel Pokemon. Now that we have Duraludon, or now that we have Whimsicott back, Whimsicott Duraludon is definitely a suspected lead. It's very, very strong. I played it a lot throughout the meta, or throughout, you know, months of series, but pre-Series 6. With Whimsicott being banned. So I think, you know, we have a lot of options for this team. I think VMAX, I keep saying VMAX instead of Venusaur. We have Venusaur Torkoal, we have Hatterene and Indeedee, which is very good, a very strong Trick Room engine. We don't even need any more Trick Room Pokemon because Hatterene and Torkoal both get enough mileage off of that. Now here we could add more good Pokemon, like things like Incineroar, Togekiss, or even Rillaboom, but then we're doubling up on types with all of those Pokemon. All of them are being doubled up in. Now, we could also just add something like Dusclops or like Porygon 2 or something for another good Trick Room setter that can set Trick Room, but then we're playing pretty hard Trick Room. So I kind of want these Pokemon to be more like Swiss Army Knife Pokemon. So it is unfortunate that I'm going for Life Orb here because, you know, Hatterene likes Life Orb too, and I was also thinking maybe Cinderace would work on this team with Libero. So it's not really just a fire type Pokemon, it's more of a Swiss Army knife with high jump kick, iron head, bounce, and sucker punch. very Swiss Army knife type Pokemon. Now it also deals with Psy Spam pretty well because neither of these deal with Psy Spam very well. I don't want to lead this into Psy Spam because they'll kill my my Venusaur. We'll get a little bit of mileage. I mean, we'll take down an Indeedee, but I think them taking down my Venusaur is way more important than me taking down an Indeedee. So yeah, I don't really want that for Psy Spam. So we do want something that can deal with Psy Spam, and I don't really think Cinderace wants to do anything other than Life Orb Dynamax, and that's just the truth. Cinderace is still an option. I'm keeping it in my back pocket for now. We're not going for it right now, but it is a good option. Now, I do definitely want a ground immunity. I want something that flies. Now, I don't really want Togekiss, like I was saying. I don't really feel like doubling up here. I don't think it's the best option. I think there's a lot of different things that we can explore going into this. I think Tyranitar could be good as well, and I do kind of like the idea of putting a dark Pokemon on my team, whether it's Incineroar or Tyranitar. Tyranitar is very, very weird for our team, mostly due to the fact that we have this. But like I was saying, if we run into Psy Spam, this doesn't work. Psy Spam Mirror, I don't really want to deal with that. So honestly, Tyranitar could make a lot of sense on this team. We'll just then have to, you know, bring this and this most of the time, or this and like our back Pokemon. You know, and Tyranitar doesn't make a lot of sense to bring Tyranitar on our Sun team when we bring our Sun as well. So it is kind of weird to put Tyranitar on the team, but I do kind of want to keep that in my back pocket as well. So Cinderace and Tyranitar are definitely two Pokemon that I'm considering very, very heavily for this tournament. Yeah, I don't know what I want these last two Pokemon to be. I want them to be fast. Or like at least one of them to be fast. I want them to be good Pokemon. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. We could go for something like P2 on the team and then like Tyranitar. But then, you know, we don't have a very fast core, so when we're not in Trick Room, it's kind of bad. And that makes me want to set Trick Room like a lot of the time. We're going to be a more Trick Room centric player. I'm going to be running Ally Switch on here. Best of ones. We're playing best of ones. Let's cheese everybody with Ally Switch. I'm not a big fan of bringing Ally Switch to a best of 3 tournament, just because after you use it once, your opponent knows it. They're playing around it, which can be good. They can attack into the wrong thing, but it adds an element of RNG that I don't really want. You know, a lot of the time it says, hey, you're going to lose, so you might as well coin flip for this win. But I don't really want to do that. I would rather just play a consistently strong team, and then when I lose, I lose. It's just something I kind of want to stray from, but in best of 1, I kind of want to be on my team. So yeah, makes a lot of sense. Eviolite, Frisk. Let's go ahead and fill this out a little bit. I want an attack, whether that's, you know, Pain Split or Nightshade or even both. I'm not super, you know, I'm down to do both. So we have Nightshade. I want Will-O-Wisp. That's very, very good for you know, Cinderace. Let's look at its Sucker Punch into our Dusclops and then get a good calc for Dusclops. So max Sucker Punch is going to be doing a lot of damage. 45 to 55 is not that much though, and I'm not too worried about that. That's with 0 defense investment, which is very, very interesting. This is Dynamaxx though. Yeah, I was going to say that isn't right. So let's make Sucker Punch not kill us guaranteed. Alright, here we are with the max darkness from Cinderace, 120 base power base off of Sucker Punch, into our 252 HP, 116 defense Eviolite, giving us a guaranteed survival here, 81 to 97, guaranteed to a KO. Now, of course, Dazzling Gleam, so if we have, if we run up into a Cinderace plus, you know, the other guy, this is kind of bad. Now, of course, we have Indeedee for like things like Dragapult. If we run into a Dragapult lead, we have Follow Me, so they can't really just go for a Max Phantasm, but I'm not always going to be doing that, so let's go ahead and look at Dragapult as well. Yep, as expected, Max Phantasm is still knocking us out about 50% of the time, so let's go ahead and invest a little bit more, and then we can live that. Okay, so here we are with a 6% chance to OHKO, but that's at max defense. Now I can take away a little bit and still have the same calc, but once it starts to creep up, I don't want that anymore. So we are going to be going with 220 most likely. I think that's pretty solid. Now Max Phantasm from Dragapult with Life Orb is not going to be taking out our Eviolite. Makes a lot of sense. I like that a lot. I think it's good. Now we could go for like a relaxed nature and then add a little bit more, but I think it's fine here with sassy nature and then giving it, you know, very minuscule amount of special defense as well. About 36 is fine. I think this is probably a pretty good spread, something that we can go with. It gives us the most safe from things like Dragapult and Cinderace, which are two Pokemon that I'm kind of worried of. So yeah, I think this works really well for Dusclops. Now we can Will-O-Wisp the Cinderace when it starts to max Airstream into something. Of course, if they lead like Togekiss, Dragapult, or Togekiss and Cinderace, we can't really go for the Will-O-Wisp because Follow Me is impending, so we're not going to be doing that. I just filled this out: Dazzling Gleam, Expanding Force, Trick Room, Protect, Magic Bounce here, Focus Sash here, just so we can set Trick Room most of the time. 252, 252, and then our leftover 4 is going to go into defense. 0 speed, so we're hitting as slow as possible at 30. We have a good matchup against things like Amoonguss because we underspeed with this, and this. We're not really worried about Amoonguss. Now, of course, if we can't set Trick Room, Amoonguss is going to be a problem. But also they can't really do anything with Hatterene. So, I mean, Amoonguss is just not really a solid bring against my team so far. So that's pretty good. Now, I want a Pokemon, a good Pokemon for our last Pokemon. And I'm not entirely sure what I want it to be yet. It could be, you know, I talked about kind of wanting a flyer. Oh, I also filled this set out, and I forgot to minimize the other window, so we'll go over that real quick. Frisk, Eviolite, Nightshade, Trick Room, Will-O-Wisp, Ally Switch. Like I said, I wanted Ally Switch on here just because it's very, very strong in the best of 1 format, and yeah, I wanted that there. Cheesing wins is free, and when we have to win a lot of games out of 45 games in 1 weekend, I think Ally Switch will give us enough of an additional backbone for cheesing people out of victories, and yeah, I like that. I think it's good. We went for Will-O-Wisp, mostly for Cinderace. It's also very good against Dragapult, Tyranitar, Excadrill. Very physical format in Series 5, so I went for Will-O-Wisp. I think it's good. Trick Room, no-brainer. Nightshade, I wanted an attack because we're going to get taunted probably. So I think it makes a lot of sense to bring, you know, an attack. You go up against a Whimsicott, and there's a good chance they're just going to taunt you. If you didn't bring Redirection, go for that Nightshade a lot of the time, unless they have to go for a Tailwind to do anything that turn. Yeah. And then for our spread, I just went with the exact spread that we just put in to damage calc. 252 into HP, 220 into defense, just so that we can live that Dragapult max Phantasm with Life Orb, and then 36 plus into special defense, being minus speed, just so we can be as slow as possible. At 27, we can underspeed things like opposing Hatterene, we underspeed Amoonguss, we underspeed Rhyperior, Gigalith, Gastron. I don't expect to see much Gigalith, but yeah, pretty solid stuff. We have a spread for everything now except Indeedee, and I know a lot of it's 252, but that's just the way we're going to go for this. Now, this could be one of many items. I like Focus Sash. I'm a big fan of Focus Sash, but I think we're going to go for Psychic Seed here, as long as we can live an attack from Cinderace. So, back to the damage calc. So yeah, that's doing 1,000,000, and I don't think that's something that we can tech for, which is very unfortunate. It means Indeedee kind of really wants Sash, which is really unfortunate. I think we're going to switch those up now, actually, on Hatterene, just because I'm that afraid of Cinderace, and I want to have a better matchup with that. So instead of Psychic Surge, instead of Psychic Seed, we're going to be going for our Focus Sash here, and then Hatterene is going to change its item. I'm not entirely sure yet, maybe Babbery. That would give us a better matchup against Excadrill as well, which makes a lot of sense. It doesn't get through Indeedee. They're going to be attacking into the Indeedee, but that's okay. Focus Sash, I think, is very, very good for Indeedee. I like that a lot. Focus Sash kind of wants to be on every Pokemon on my team so far. Not actually just Indeedee and Hatterene, maybe Venusaur. But yeah, this is what we're going to go with. Psychic Surge here. Now, I want the last Pokemon on my team to, first off, it needs to be physical. We only have special attackers, so I definitely need a physical attacking Pokemon. Something that works in or out of Trick Room, potentially. I was thinking Conkeldurr at first, but then we're very weak to Togekiss. We don't really have any out for Togekiss, to be honest, which is really unfortunate. Now, obviously, Expanding Force, like dual Expanding Force, is doing a lot of damage, but is it doing enough is the question. And my answer to that question is probably not. We have Helping Hand, Expanding Force, Helping Hand, Protect, and what's our last move? I'm an idiot. Obviously, Follow Me. Anyway, so we have Expanding Force, Helping Hand, Follow Me, Protect, Focus Sash, so I'm going to be going into Speed and Special Attack. I know it's a little bit counterintuitive because of Super Trick Roomy team, but I think it's good. We're going to go with that. It's good. Timid Nature, just be as fast as possible. Maybe we should go for Modest because we're doing a lot of damage with Expanding Force at that point. but 150 is very fast. Like, it's actually like a pretty good speed tier. I mean, obviously it's not insanely fast. We're back into our fast meta with things like Cinderace and Dragapult everywhere, but you know, Focus Sash allows us to typically live that, which is very good. So yeah, that's what we're going to be going with. Now, Ted Core, what do we lose to? Well, Excadrill is really strong against our team, you know, of course, as well as the Togekiss, as well as the Excadrill, or Dragapult. So what do we really have? I mean, obviously we set Trick Room, which is very good, makes us go first, but then Expanding Forces and stuff is not the best. Torkoal is not the best. We could definitely make Torkoal offensive now, which is an idea, definitely. Our last Pokemon could be Tyranitar. And the reason I say that it probably should be Tyranitar is, first off, it gives us a dark Pokemon, which is very strong in this meta with Psy Spam everywhere. And by everywhere, it's not everywhere, but it is pretty prevalent. And yeah, I think it's probably a good idea to have something for that. Incineroar could be our last Pokemon too. It's also physical as mid-speed, which is very solid for our team. We want mid-speed Pokemon, something with a little bit of speed to beat hard Trick Room, and in which case we can, like, you know, deter Trick Room. But also, I don't really want it to be any supportive kind of Pokemon because we already have Dusclops, we have Indeedee, which is fairly supportive, but Expanding Force is very strong as well. And then we also have Torkoal, which is fairly supportive, but Heat Wave is like fairly strong as well. I mean, not that strong though, because our special attack is not even that good, 85. So yeah. And also, maybe this should go to special defense. I don't know. But like I said, this was mostly to destroy Tyranitars, so. Like this guy. Destroy Tyranitar. I wanted a physical Pokemon, a Pokemon that can max, a Pokemon that's worth under Trick Room, but also fine without Trick Room. Can deal with Cinderace, can deal with Togekiss, can deal with Excadrill. Now, all those Pokemon deal with Tyranitar really well as well, but if we set Trick Room, we're looking okay. So, Tyranitar, what do you want to do, bud? I also think that Bulldoze could land on this for Tyranitar, but I don't know. Seems like a lot that we need to do. Anyway, Cinderace is hard. Cinderace is still a hard matchup. Dusclops lives, sure, but Dusclops and Indeedee is a really bad lead for that. Hatterene and Indeedee is decent as well. We bring Indeedee and then Torkoal comes in, but now we don't really deal with, I mean, like Dazzling Gleam, like Max Dazzling Gleam is good. Definitely, like Smite is very strong. With it being a hard Trick Room team, I am a little bit upset that we're not bringing offensive Torkoal and using offensive Venusaur as well, which is a little weird of a thing to do, but I think that Max Venusaur is really, really worth it. I think it's so powerful. I think a lot of the time, if they don't bring a different kind of weather, Venusaur G-Max is going to just carry so hard. I think it's going to carry so much. The residual damage is so much, as well as just the initial damage so much. It's so much damage. The best ways of dealing with it are things like Cinderace, in which case, if they don't bring a way to change weather, we deal with at least a little. Or Togekiss. Either way, I think against Cinderace, we probably won't be leading G-Max Venusaur very frequently. We'll probably be leading Dusclops, Tyranitar maybe, Hatterene, and Indeedee, something like that. I think this is a, you know, really good two Pokemon to bring in the back a lot of the time, and it really makes me want to bring Bulldoze. But I really want all four of these attacks. So I think we're losing Ally Switch, which is a very sad loss, but I think all of the other attacks are 100% necessary. So we're going for Bulldoze. We're going for Bulldoze strats. This is going to be weakness policy. I think this makes a lot of sense. It's very, very similar to a lot of teams in Series 5 that we have seen, but I think, you know, it's very similar to those teams for a reason. It's very, very strong. They're probably not going to be bringing Intimidate, but if it's on Incineroar, they probably will, because Incineroar does very, very good against our team. But we do have a couple of resists, which is good, but not enough. You know, our dark matchup is going to be really hard. Tyranitar and Incineroar is going to be very, very, very strong against our team, like unbelievably strong against our team. And setting our Trick Room, bringing in Torkoal is very good, but it is rough. It is going to be a rough matchup no matter what, no matter how you look at it. Incineroar kind of destroys our team, kind of just destroys our team. And then Tyranitar also just does so much against our team. Going hard Trick Room is a bit sketchy, but I think it could pay off a lot. So we're going to fill out this with this Lash Out. The other two moves, Superpower is good for itself, only really for itself, which is very, very unfortunate. And then, of course, we're going to be going with Protect for our last spot. Now, almost every Pokemon has Protect, which is very good. But, yeah, you got to work really hard for this team to be amazing. Definitely. You're going to have to work very hard for this team. Which is good, but also very unfortunate. This is going to be a max Pokemon a lot of the time. Hatterene will be max, G-Max. Venusaur will be G-Max a lot of the time as well. I think the team is very, very dependent on Trick Room, so if they can taunt you, get rid of it, that's kind of bad. But we do have Redirection, which is good, meaning Indeedee gets, away with a lot, which is good. Rillaboom is pretty strong against our team, but not too strong. Torkoal and Venusaur both deal with that pretty well with our Sludge Bomb, Max Ooze kind of deal. Max Ooze is going to be amazing. Max Ooze for Torkoal, Heat Wave, going to be great, or either of these Pokemon is definitely good. We don't have very many physical attackers. We are going to lose to Goodra. That's a Pokemon that I plan on, not being able to beat. I didn't plan on not being able to beat, but with this team, we don't really have anything that we can do against it. Fitting Psyspam and Venusaur Torkoal is a lot on a team. I get that. This team will definitely change. I'm going to be testing this core. Like I said, I think VMAX Venusaur. I think G-Max Venusaur and Torkoal is an unbelievably strong archetype. I think Psyspam is a very, very strong archetype as well. And I think Dusclops Tyranitar is very strong. And just Tyranitar in general is very, very strong. Catching our Bulldoze is going to be very, very good. Setting up Trick Room is going to be detrimental to our team. I think this team is going to run into a lot of struggles. But at the same time, I think it's going to be unbelievably powerful all the time. Or at least a lot of the time. And then if you can play through the struggles, play through the hard matchups, I think you're going to get a lot of mileage off of using this team. So, without further ado, let's go test it a couple of times. Maybe one game for the video. But, this is what we're going to go with for this battle. Alright, so here we are. We are playing against a Series 6 team, which I really didn't want to play against. But, it's fine. You're going to be playing against a lot of Series 6 teams on ladder on here. Which is very, very unfortunate. I really don't like that. I know they split the ladders, but it's still, kind of hard to deal with. Anyway, let's look at this team. So he's got Talonflame, which is really good. Tailwind is really strong against my team if they can get it up, but Trick Room is very, very strong against his team if I can get it up. So that's what we're going to be going for. Trick Room shenanigans. Makes a lot of sense. I think Dusclops Tyranitar is pretty good, but at the same time, I think we have to go for Indeedee because Taunt on Talonflame is something I have to respect. Definitely have to respect that. Indeedee Psyspam is pretty strong here. Really, there's nothing that is too scary. Duraludon is definitely something that I don't want to run into, and we don't have Mystical Fire on here, which is kind of unfortunate. Expanding Forces aren't going to be doing a lot to that. I think I'm leaning on Indeedee Dusclops here. Of course, Venusaur is very, very strong here as well, but honestly, I'm kind of leaning for that. I think it's very strong. Duraludon doesn't really have anything for Venusaur. Correct? Thunderbolt, Dragon. Not bad. I think Venusaur is probably our best lead. Now, of course, Talonflame does a lot of damage, but I still think that's probably okay. Getting off the residual damage here, turn 1, is going to be really, really detrimental. Bring Venusaur, Torkoal, Dusclops, Tyranitar in the back. I think that's probably what we're going to be going for here, and that's locking it in. Alright, so he leads Mamoswine and Talonflame. Of course, Talonflame is going to be doing a lot of damage to Venusaur, but it's not going to get the boost from Flare Blitz. We can take it out. Or it is going to get a boost from Flare Blitz, obviously. But I think Dynamaxing and Vine Lashing here is very, very strong. I think we Vine Lash into Mamoswine, even though it's not going to be doing any damage whatsoever. I still think it's a good option. We could go into the Talonflame, but I just don't think that's that good. We can Yawn the Talonflame, but once again, I just don't think that's that good. So yeah, I mean, we can double here with Heat Wave into it. We could also go for a Body Press into the Mamoswine, but I also think just switching is very a good option here as well. So honestly, I think I'm gonna Protect and then go for a Yawn on Talonflame. I switched my my move up very, very. I switched it up a lot. Torkoal should live this pretty easily. Yep, about 50%. Eat our Citrus Berry. We can eat another one of that attack, which is really good. Yawning the Talonflame here is really strong. He did go for Tailwind this turn, so yeah, that's a little unfortunate. I think switching here to Dusclops is pretty solid. Having the Max Venusaur as an option or Max Tyranitar later as an option is pretty good. And then Body Press into Mamoswine could be good. Did he take damage? Yeah, it did. So it's Life Orb Mamoswine, which is really interesting. He could double into our Torkoal this turn, but I don't think he's gonna. So we're gonna go for a Body Press into the Mamoswine because we know we can live the Life Orb. It's Safety Goggles Talonflame, which is pretty interesting. Brave Birds into the Dusclops, takes some damage, so now he doesn't have that that additional attack. Body Press should take it out. It does, so Mamoswine's gone. Torkoal's alive still. We have Dusclops. We can set Trick Room now. Sleeping Talonflame is very good. He can't deal with Dusclops with any Pokemon that he has, I think. At 50% HP or 46. I don't believe he can deal with that. We're super bulky. I mean, look at those stats. 267 defense, special defense, and 255. Like, I don't know what he can deal with to stop our Trick Room. So he has Rotom here, which is actually very strong in this position. I think he's probably going to go for like Nasty Plot, which would make a lot of sense. Or just attack the Dusclops. I don't foresee him attacking into Torkoal. So I think we just want to go for like Body Press damage into Rotom this turn. Maybe Heat Wave. It would do a good bit of damage. It is resisted, but you know we have Sun as well, which is very good. I think Trick Room and just attacking is probably our best option. We also could just switch back into Venusaur now, which I do kind of like, but we are outsped by the Rotom if it's max speed. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set Trick Room and we're gonna go for a Heat Wave. Now if he attacks into Torkoal, I'm not really that worried actually. So he switches into Duraludon, that's fine. Yeah, he attacks into the Torkoal, that's okay, but we get Trick Room up now, so I'm not mad at all about what happened. Now Duraludon, if it's weakness policy, this is kind of annoying. He could be running like Bulldoze on his Mamoswine or something for that, which could be annoying. Will-O-Wisp does nothing against his team, at least what he brought. Like Talonflame, we can't Will-O-Wisp. I guess we could have Mamoswine, but I just killed it immediately anyway, so it's fine. I think Bulldoze and maxing here is just the way to go. I think it's very good. Venusaur's Friendly Planet is going to take out the Rotom, no problem. And Rotom doesn't like affect us too much. It's not that big of a deal. We could go for Max Knuckle into the Duraludon, which I think is a good play. That's what we're going to go for. We're going to get big. I think he's going to Dynamax this turn. He doesn't Dynamax. Levitate Rotom is fine. He doesn't max his Duraludon, so we are taking that out. So yeah, that's very good. Bye-bye Duraludon. Now he only has Rotom and Talonflame. We deal with the Rotom with the one guy, which is very good. Hydro Pump does nothing because of Sandstorm. Very, very good stuff. I think this is in an unwinnable position for my opponent. But, you know, we could miss. We can't miss with Tyranitar, though. So, yeah. We just killed the other guy. We lost our Torkoal, so we did lose our speed control against the Rotom. But I don't think Rotom can offer an OHKO on our Venusaur no matter what at 9 non-Dynamax. So, yeah. I think this shows that, you know, leading Venusaur Torkoal doesn't have to just be mindless Vine Lash into something turn 1. You don't want to do that. Yeah. We're just going to start Nightshading into the Rotom. Chip it down, but Friendly Planet definitely takes it out, like, regardless. And we're going to Rockfall into the Talonflame. I don't think there's anything else that we should be doing here. Of course, the Rotom is going to be, you know, resetting the weather. And probably taking out Tyranitar the next turn. Not this turn, obviously. We still have Trick Room for 2 turns, though. So I'm just not really afraid. We're going to just Nightshade and do more damage here. What does the most damage? I guess Darkness does. No, Rockfall does. Alright. Stab. Well, I guess Max Darkness is Stab, too. There's Darkness into it. That lowers special defense, right? Alright, Rotom, Max Darkness, goes down. Okay, so, yeah, no problem there. Yeah, definitely, you know, it was unfortunate we played against a Series 6 team, but I still think, regardless, you know, we showed off how powerful this team can be without even worrying. We didn't even use Venusaur. Like, we just kept it in the back as a win con for later on, with the Talonflame being asleep. I think Yawn Torkoal is definitely really powerful. Yeah, I mean, just bringing like 2 powerhouse Pokemon, whether it's Tyranitar, Venusaur, or Hatterene, you know, any combination of 2 of those, I think is very good. And I think the team is very solid. So yeah, that's how we're gonna end this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to play this team, Pokepaste will be in the description below. like I said, it is a team that you're gonna have to test a lot, because there is a lot of like kind of interesting plays you can do. Torkoal and Tyranitar kind of conflict, and they're Pokemon that I'm gonna be bringing together a lot of the time, I think. With Dusclops, Tyranitar being in the back, it is a very, very strong thing, but yeah, it is very counterintuitive. Also, Hatterene getting Mystical Fire could be a really good option, because you can set your own Sun back up for Venusaur once Torkoal dies. If you bring these 4, lead these, Torkoal goes down, Hatterene can set back up the weather with a max move, allowing for Venusaur to be good once again. So yeah, that is gonna be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. It means a lot to me. Join the Discord, follow me on Twitter, support the Patreon, do all those things. Relevant links in the description if you're interested. I'm trying to do more on Patreon. Yesterday I wrote an article for 2 hours, and then my power went out, and I did it on Patreon, so it didn't save. So yeah, but expect an article within the next couple of days, and mostly about Series 5 and what I expect for the Players' Cup. And yeah, expect a bunch of Series 5 videos. If you only want to see Series 6 stuff, comment it down below. I will then do some Series 6 stuff mixed in, but we are definitely going to be doing some Series 5 content as well. Now, if it's unanimous and every single person says, nah, I don't want to see Series 5 stuff, okay, I'll keep it to myself. We'll just upload Series 6 stuff. So let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, Series 5. We don't get to play Series 6 for the tournament. Series 5. Why did you even make the ban list, Pokemon? Why did you even do it? Anyway, I'm rambling now, so thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.